Hey everyone, we're here live at SIA CollaborationX. We have the most successful acquisition in the space. We saw you guys last year. We also have, Mike, I prepped this, the most successful Boston entrepreneur and New Hampshire.
Yes.
And New Hampshire, okay? Let's not forget New Hampshire out there. But listen guys, thank you so much for hopping on, and let's just kick it off with the first question of give us the update since last year of how the acquisition is going.
Geez, I don't know what you think, Greg, but I feel like we're so far past that now. Like we are, we're 100% part of the core fabric that Randstad Digital is today. So acquisition is way back in the rearview mirror from my perspective.
It's crazy to think it's been, just a year. But I think one of the real advantages we had is that we partnered with Torc in advance. So we really got to know them. We worked with them. We learned so much about the capabilities so that once we actually moved forward with the acquisition, it's been a real rapid progression in the integration.
Yeah, that's excellent. I think we see a lot of this kind of consolidation happening to bring more to customers, right? And that's what's happening with the world of talent and what organizations need. Skills are developing so fast. Having these different talent pools becomes incredibly critical. How important is that, and how important has that been to your clients as you guys are finding more things to offer them and meet their organizational needs?
I mean, it's just been a constant struggle not having it, right? Not being nimble enough, not being wired, right, with the right, underpinning technology in order to bring forth those types of solutions. Just too much, physical manpower and inefficiency for too many years. So now having the ability to be so much more connected globally on a specialized tech talent platform, it's massive advantage.
Yeah. How about this event? So CollaborationX, it's a big industry event. We're just kicking it off today. You guys are our first interview of the day of many. What are your expectations? What are you hoping to learn about, hear about with respect to recent trends or things that are happening in our space?
I mean, personally, like the innovating things that are coming in 18 months out is what I'm interested in. There's a lot that's like, hey, that's old news. Yeah. So like, finding those nuggets of, hey, what's new, what's interesting, what's going to change the game, who's thinking differently. A lot of people are still looking at this business as, it's an A grade if you can connect a talent with a company in a couple of weeks. Like, why can't that be a couple of seconds? Yeah. Start finding those nuggets of innovation that people are working on. That's what I'm looking for, to leave here with a few things that like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, and Mike, so you've been a seasoned entrepreneur, multiple exits in the space. What's different now? Like right now, what's different from 2 years ago, and where do you see it going over the next 2 years?
I mean,
who else should we acquire, Mike?
Who else should we acquire? Yeah.
There's this tiny startup in the booth with you.
Yeah. It's really stuff's moving so rapidly. It's not just about the tech. It's not just about the business model. I think, in the past, if you had one of those things, you could be pretty successful. And now I think it is harder. You have to have the tech, you have to have the business model, but you also have to have the operational excellence. And like, I think that's what I see now is like everything revolves around operational excellence. So much more than like, we used to put a lot of clout into like, hey, this next release is going to get us here. And it's like the tech is, tech's important, but it's the executing after that tech is released is what's really important. I think that's probably different for me.
Yeah, and let me add to that, Greg, probably for you too, the LATAM aspect. So that was partly what you were doing, Mike. That was new, right? Was hey, there's this nearshoring concept, same time zones, highly educated, phenomenal workforce. How is the LATAM industry and location? How's that going?
Latin America talent base is growing stronger, faster, more accessible, better alignment with language skills. So all of that is increasing rapidly. And that's having an effect for sure, like a positive effect on U.S. companies accessing Latin America talent. I do still think there's some barriers. Large companies in particular still have some barriers to accessing remote or global talent, right? So like in our world, as we think about, being a platform and connecting customers and talent, it shouldn't matter. It's a global platform. You can connect any global customer with any global talent for whatever that need is. And that's not yet. That's still hard to do at some of the larger companies and larger enterprises out there. There's just a lot of barriers to it, whether it's insurance or risk or compliance or workflow, or I haven't done that before, or there's a host of things to get through that we're still battling through.
Yeah, but without the experience that we gained with Torc, and again, being able to have technology connect regions and make that really not a barrier, we wouldn't even be seeing any of the growth that we're having there. But to Mike's point, you really have to be planned, prepared. Compliance is a big factor, and I think that ties into the operational excellence. So there's absolutely ways to do it, but it takes a coordinated, organized effort for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about this combo. Okay, so the peanut butter jelly, right? Of like, hey, Torc and Randstad. When you see the unlock, is it the compliance? Is it the enterprise accounts? Is it the speed plus? What would you say is really making the combo work so well right now?
Well, you got some good ones there, Matt. But I think we're for being a big company, we definitely drive a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship. But without bringing in organizations that are so specialized, and bring a perspective that is frankly faster, so I think the acceleration is one of the the biggest leaps forward or unlocking. So the Torc team pushes the bigger Randstad team, makes us challenge norms, and I think we're very open to that. That's one thing that I kind of think about.
I agree.
Yeah, I think oftentimes when I think about this space, speed is so valuable. You already talked about it. Getting talent in quickly makes such a big difference. You reduce the gaps, the strain on the rest of the team, but speed without compliance is worthless. And when I talk to enterprise leaders, oftentimes they're like, I like this idea. They're so worried. They're so overly concerned about the compliance risk and how they're going to manage that, especially in other countries, that it really forces them to hesitate. Or they're worried about fraud, especially when we're talking about digital remote, working with the talent remotely. What are things that you're doing to make sure that we're addressing that for them so they can continue to move forward, not with reckless abandon, but at least with urgency to get these projects done?
I mean, you hit it, but the way that we think about it is like it's speed of talent deployment, right? And in order to have speed of talent deployment, you have to have quality. You have to have accuracy that the talent can fill the job description, right? You have to have compliant contracts and work structure and work arrangements in place. Those things they just have to be there. But the speed of talent deployment is what matters. Yeah. It's not the speed of, I can match you to a good talent in a second, right? But how fast can I get them deployed? We used to call it, back in the early days when we were sitting in a, brainstorming session, we used to call it speed to code. If we can solve the speed to code, like when's the first line of code that developer writes in the new for the new company, that metric matters.
I often think about that. In a former life, working to find organizations' talent quickly, we do that matching. But then if it takes 2 weeks to do the classification or another week to do background checks and another week for onboarding, that time to code in the way that you just described it ends up being really long. And even though they felt good with the match, if it takes that long to get the talent actually working, what's the point? You lose that huge value proposition of speed. It's still a lot faster than maybe hiring someone full time, and it's going to take you 6 months. But the whole reason that, to me, a big motivation for engaging with different kinds of talent in different areas is that you get them to work quickly. And being able to break that down quickly is important. I wonder, I know that a big topic at this event, because I've looked at the whole schedule, we're going to be talking about AI a lot. So we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up, especially when we're talking about speed, and we're also talking about it with respect to some things that are more administrative but have to happen. What kind of things are you seeing or looking forward to in terms of what you think AI can do to enhance what the customer needs, which is that speed or just a better CX?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's first off, it's the commitment at the highest level of the organization that we are amidst a transformation, right? So for us, we're looking at one of our biggest functions is the recruitment function, and it's obviously critical to our success. AI is already embedded in a lot of that process, but not at the scale that it needs to be. Not, again, with the pace, the velocity that we need to achieve. So we are looking at, we've completely broken down the process, and where is AI going to, play an instrumental role, and then what does that do to change the people's roles, right? And in many cases, it's adding roles, or it's creating, more challenging and empowering roles than were things that were done, a lot more administrative tasks. But we're not just layering a piece of technology and saying, oh, you're going to be a little bit more efficient. We're restructuring, reforming, reorganizing, a massive function of our operating model with AI at the center.
Yeah, I really think if you're not thinking about AI and transformation with that, then you're just being opportunistic, which is great because you'll get benefits, but you'll miss the real transformative potential, and it requires that kind of broader, strategic, organizational thinking.
And so, Mike, you were early to crowdsourcing, right? You created it, and so when it comes to getting rid of or augmenting, whatever you want to call it, with software development, you have done it, right? With AI, what's real, what's not real, and what are the actual things leaders need to care about when thinking about AI?
AI is real. Like it's just incredible what you can do with it. Now, so here's the lens that I think people are starting to view the talent world from. And I say starting. It's like 6 months ago, a year ago, it was like, hey, we need to hire these AI skills, right? What it should be saying is, what skill could we hire that doesn't have AI involved in it? Like there's a difference. I mean, if you're Sam Altman, I bet he could give you a use case for any job that uses AI, right? That AI will benefit that job. And that's how people need to start thinking about it. Like, it's not I'm hiring for a Java developer, I'm hiring for a help desk engineer, I'm hiring for an AI developer, I'm hiring for a prompt engineer. No, the developer, the help desk person, like all of those have to be an AI enabled talent. Everybody. So how quickly will we get to 50% of the people we placed have AI as part of their skill set, right? That's like the first bar. Then how fast do we get to 100%? There's a future where, does anybody in the professional world not know how to type?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. 30 years ago, a lot of people didn't know how to type, right? I mean, it's a very, AI is just going to be one of those fundamental foundational things like, hey, do you know how to use email? Do you know how to use Microsoft Office? Do you know how to use AI as part of your job function? And that's going to be the interview questions. They're not going to be like, hey, take this Series 7 exam. It's like, show me how quickly using AI you can answer these complex financial questions, right? I have no basis on that Series 7 thing. I'm just saying.
You scared me.
I'm just saying it's completely changing the way that you look at skill sets because, it's a tool that's going to make the individual more productive across
and I
the
think
board.
the companies that embrace, that approach, right, are going to be the ones that take advantage or on the right side of this wave, of change. And I think the ones that delay or, hesitate, and they're relying on us to really kind of build that roadmap, for them on the talent.
Yeah. So for next year, you guys cool with the human cloud bot? Tony and I will be eating breakfast, and you guys just talk to the bot.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, guys. Well, listen. Most important question: where can our audience find you? And then I know you have two things in common, right? You're both fly, Eagles fly. Your quarterback kind of left. Not gonna screw
Not
the driver too
Philadelphia
much.
Eagles, Boston College Eagles. Making sure you got that
Exactly.
right.
The smart school in Boston, but I couldn't go there. But listen, where can our listeners find you? And thank you so much, guys, for hopping on.
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn's the easiest for me, easy to find. Mike Morris.
Yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn, of course, our website, and we're going to continue to be more and more outbound from a digital perspective.
And just to note, we were number one in the AC after week number one.
Yes.
The ACC. Number one in the
Yes.
ACC after week number one. Number one.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
I was number one in my JV football one time. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's not the SEC. But all right, guys, thank you so much for hopping on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.